Hello, folks. This is Kenny with Just the Right Angle. You can catch me at Just the Right Angle on Rumble, as well as YouTube, Keep Arkansas Legal, and Podbean, Just the Right Angle. I'm doing is a recording on a part 2 of a issue I've been talking about why decline to sign failed, and why the abortion amendment was allowed to pass in the supposedly most pro-life state in the nation of Arkansas. There was an effort to the ballot initiative that was started in really November of last year by a fraudulent leftist group called Arkansas Reproductive Rights that changed their name to Arkansas for Limited Government. And they raised, at one point, a total of not quite $350,000, $340,000 and change, to put on the ballot the legalization of abortion. Now, this ballot has wording in it that it calls for health care or emergencies, but all someone has to say is they make any excuse for a health reason to abort an unborn child. It also blocks the state legislature from being able to make any kind of changes regarding abortion. So it legalizes the murder of the unborn with just a few extra steps. The Arkansas legislature did a few years ago pass several bills restricting abortion, and they had what's known as a trigger law, which when Roe v. Wade was overturned, that abortion would be illegal in the state of Arkansas. Of course, thanks to mainly the Texas legislature that passed legislation that would have bankrupted a lot of abortion mills, the U.S. Supreme Court eventually decided to overturn Roe v. Wade, which, by the way, Roe v. Wade did not legalize abortion in all states. It forced all states to have to accept abortion. And so it's now up to the states, as Trump has said. And so some states have decided to legalize abortion. Other states have banned it. And then there have been efforts by leftist organizations to use ballot initiatives to legalize abortion. This fight is happening all across the nation, and Arkansas is in the middle of that fight. Well, the pro-abortion group, Arkansas for Limited Government, managed to get enough signatures on the ballot, despite Arkansas being again, pro-life, Bible Belt, heavily pro-Trump state. And I have talked about in other videos, part of the reason why that happened is mainly because of apathy regarding Christian conservatives, as well as a kind of a general lack of concern. And I have mentioned briefly the issues regarding the conservative movement here in Arkansas, and that there has been some problems regarding that. What I'm going to do now is talk a little more details into that, give some facts. So the group Arkansas for Limited Government, they raised, again, close to $340,000. At last expenditure, last time I have checked their finances, they spent almost $220,000, $219,751.90, and they have $120,000 remaining. And that's money they're going to use to campaign to get people to vote on legalizing the murder of the unborn in the state of Arkansas. Now, there was another group called Decline to Sign that was supposed to block this effort. They were supposed to make sure that people didn't sign this abomination of a ballot initiative so it wouldn't get on the ballot. And by the way, this is known as, some kind of call it blocking. This is something that I myself have participated in. Years ago, there was an attempt to raise taxes on natural gas. It was done by Sheffield Nelson. And I, along with a group called Americans of Prosperity and other conservatives, were hired and paid and financed to keep people from signing this ballot initiative so that it would not get on the ballot. And we were successful. And I think because of that, we most likely have saved the taxpayers in the state of Arkansas probably millions of, because I was in several years ago when that was done, millions of dollars at tax, but we have saved taxpayers by making sure there's not an increase in tax and natural gas. So we helped a lot of people in that way. But this group Declined to Sign didn't bother to pay people, didn't finance them, didn't have really a network so that they could contact lawyers or be directed to various events. When I was with Stop the Gas Tax, I would be notified of things like Riverfest and gun shows and various other places where people might gather signatures. And I was there, in front of libraries, and I would be there with other people. And we would go up to signature gatherers, ask them which ballots they had, and if it was just a casino one or another one, we were to leave them alone, even though I'm personally against the casinos. But if it was a natural gas tax, we would be there, and we would tell people to decline the sign, and we would have plenty of material. We had we had shirts, swag, if you will, and we were well coordinated. But this decline to sign campaign was not that way. Now, the ballot initiative that it's filed under is called Stronger Arkansas. Why they didn't file it as Arkansas Decline to Sign or Arkansas Pro-Life Group, I don't know. But they call themselves Stronger Arkansas. Now, they raised, I show here, $375,000 more money than the Arkansas for Limited Government, the pro-abortion group. So they had more money. But as of the end of this campaign, the total expenditures, they only spent $32,000, hardly anything. And they have $202,000 left. So it's pretty clear what they did is they did not spend money on decline to sign. They only spent money on a few ads. I'm going to go through some of the details. And so it looks like they really didn't make that much of an effort to stop this ballot initiative from getting on the ballot. And by the way, the signature of the ballot question committee officer, the person who's basically supposed to run Stronger Arkansas, is a name that you've heard before from me, Chris Caldwell. Chris Caldwell of Caldwell Consulting is the campaign manager for Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and for all intents and purposes, as far as I can tell, seems to be the one that actually tells Sarah Huckabee Sanders what to do. Okay, he's the advisor. He's also involved in the hijacking and discrediting of the Pulaski County GOP committee meeting in the last convention. He was there along with Melanie Gulick, where we had to spend several hours to send our delegates to the state convention, not the one in 2024, but the other one, I believe in 2022. And then and then after all that effort, they lied and claimed that we did not properly, we were not credentialed. That's a term you'll see a lot regarding GOP state conventions. And then they had a kangaroo court credentials committee hearing where Melanie Gulick used the U.S. flag to block me from filming what was going on regarding the investigation. And then, of course, they sicked the police on us there. Then they sicked the police on us again during the state convention and then had us kicked out of the hotel lobby. But that's the Chris Caldwell. That's saying Chris Caldwell. And he was likely also the reason why the last state convention, the June 8th, 2024 state convention, took 10 hours. Because for some reason, the delegate list was never given to people to use it. And so that spent several hours again on credentialing. However, we, along with the guidance of a RNC hired parliamentarian, made sure that credentialing was done correctly. And then all kinds of efforts were made to try to adjourn the convention, even without selecting Trump delegates. But that was done in a proper procedure. But a lot of us are pretty sure that it was Chris Caldwell behind a lot of the efforts by what we call the consultant class, the establishment, to keep conservatives from making changes to the Republican Party rules and platform. Those changes, by the way, were done properly, especially the closing of primaries, and the Republican Party of Arkansas has yet to update the website on those changes. So this is the guy that has been sabotaging conservative efforts for a while, and now it looks like he sabotaged this decline the sign effort. And I'm going to show you some of the things that decline the sign spent their money on.